Episode 11.
11.
First one of the year.
We're back.
What a time off we've had.
Yeah. So we did record a podcast after episode 10.
That was between Christmas and New Year, wasn't
With
it?
Bernie,
or just
yeah.
before Christmas.
But you were really ill. So was Mason. And we didn't have an agenda, and we listened back to it, and we were like, you fell asleep about 3 times. You were in a bad way. Really
I
bad
wasn't
way.
good. I hadn't slept for 2 nights. I was really ill.
Yeah.
I was just, no, it wasn't a good space.
And so, although we don't take a lot of things very seriously, we wanted a certain standard on the podcast, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And so we were like, look, let's just have a good chunk of time off, come back when we're not ill.
Everything's fresh.
Yeah.
Get back into a routine, and then, yeah.
Yeah. So now we're actually back. There's an episode 11 somewhere that will never ever see the light of day, I don't think. Because it was
However, we are back, but Mason's not,
yeah.
unfortunately.
So you shared on the Insta, didn't you, that he's had his baby.
Yep.
Welcome to the world.
Yep.
We won't talk about that too much because that's a Mason thing, isn't it?
Definitely,
so, we'll let Mason talk about that.
But big congratulations.
Yeah, massive congrats to Mason. Huge, obviously, well done to Brooke as well for actually doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we say Mason had a baby. Mason didn't have a baby.
No.
But he was there, and yeah, so they're all doing really well, I think. So that's great. So just me and John today.
Yeah.
There you
So
go.
how have you been?
Oh yeah, good one. So it's been a while. So obviously we've all seen each other over this time, but we haven't done a podcast, and certainly not since between Christmas and New Year anyway. So
I think because we do the podcast now, we don't talk so much during when we do see each other, because then it gives us more things to talk about when we do.
yeah,
In a way.
we still like catch up and have a general chit chat, but there's certain stuff we might get kind of deeper
Save.
into that.
Yeah.
So actually this is quite a good chat to have on the podcast. So there was a few topics raised in the Underground episode 11 that we should bring back up, because that was the other thing with episode 11. Like, I went on a bit of a rant because I think I was in a bad place that day anyway. And I was annoyed because like you were like asleep, Mason was ill, and I was like, well, I'm the only one who's here and really up for it. And I had some bees in my bonnet about some stuff, and it requires a more of a nuanced discussion on certain topics. And I was like, right, we're going to come back to all of this.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
so I'm just going to take my keys out of my pocket. So how am I? Good. Yeah. So let's pretend we haven't spoken since Christmas. So we had Christmas, New Year.
Yep.
Christmas was pretty normal. We did all the standard, like go and see this side of the family, go and see that side of the family at different points. We actually had Christmas Day, just us 3, me, Catherine, Ripley, which was actually really chill, really nice. Just us. So that was cool. And yeah, we didn't do anything for New Year's because, well, we never used to, because the dog was really scared of all the fireworks, so we'd always be in to look after her, and we don't have her anymore. But obviously Ripley goes to bed at 7ish at night, and we're always knackered, so we're just like, fine, stay in, chill out.
Did Ripley enjoy Christmas?
Yes, she did. She's at an age where she doesn't quite understand Christmas as an idea, but she knows it's like special, and there's lots of twinkly lights, and like
She gets a bunch of gifts.
yeah, she worked that out. One of her favourite gifts was the gift from you.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, she loves her
Little scout.
Yeah, scout. It's the kind of thing you think is going to be really annoying, and then it's actually kind of sweet because Ripley loves it.
No.
So John basically got Ripley a teddy bear that sings and stuff, and you can program it, like it can say their name and stuff like that. Or the Ripley's name is not on the kind of
Oh, is it not?
drop down.
Oh, nice.
So you can choose a nickname, so it goes, hello, little monkey. So she's Little Monkey now. Yeah, but that's all right. So yeah, she enjoyed it. She had a good time seeing various family and stuff, and
Nice.
she always came downstairs and like, turn on the tree, Daddy, turn on the tree. So she loved it, yeah. And then New Year was chill, and then I actually had a whole 2-week chunk off, which is not something I do very much. So that was really nice.
Did you go anywhere?
Nowhere other than seeing family.
Okay.
But obviously Catherine was still going to work over this time because she's 2 days a week back now. But obviously the ambulance service ignores Christmas and New Year. That's not a thing. So she wasn't
people
working.
Still get ill and everything.
But especially then, like they have too much to eat and drink, they have a heart attack and they die, right? So so she was working 23rd, 24th, not Christmas Day, which was nice. And then she was also working New Year's Day. So it's been pretty normal, but obviously back to work now, which is actually kind of nice in a way to get some structure back. I think you've probably had a more interesting Christmas, New Year period. I think this episode is going to be John's travel diary, and we're going to start a new like stem of the podcast, which is just,
where's John been?
John starts some kind of travel YouTube channel and then he leaves us eventually to go live in Thailand or something
and find a Thai bird,
who may or may not be a lady.
That's like a mystery box.
Mystery box. You can have the £100 or you can have the mystery box. So how am I? Good, all good actually. Percentage. Oh yeah, did percentage, didn't we? I'd go for an 80%, I think.
Nice.
I haven't been sleeping amazingly. Ripley's been not getting up, but she'll stir and chat to herself, but not really be awake. But if I can hear her chatting, then I'm just awake then. And I've been getting up really early, and I don't really know the reason why I'm not going back to sleep. And then I'm just going back to sleep when Ripley starts to stir. So
do you think that could be anything to do with the time off you've had? Or did you still have a routine of decent sleep and everything during that time?
That's a good point. I suppose I might not have been as like generally tired of everything, general life making you tired. But I don't know really. But it's, it's perfectly all right. I mean, it's at a stage now where you and I can't be tired because Mason's going to be the most tired of all the people. Yeah,
we've got to be on form.
So we can't complain about much now. But other than that, I'm fine. I have been doing, actually, this kind of ties into how I am and stuff. Catherine got me one of those, like a cold plunge pod thing for Christmas. Yeah. We got each other polar opposite gifts. I got her a rechargeable, like, heated cushion.
Oh, nice.
Thing. One of those stove. Anyway, you can charge it up and it's like, it's quite a big cushion, and she got me the opposite.
Something freezing.
So I've been doing about every day, not quite every day, but nice. I've been doing roughly 6 on and then a day off. But I kind of go on if I'm really not, like if it's a kind of day where I think, I don't really want to be all cold, but you will benefit from doing it, and I'll still do it. But if you genuinely think, no, I'm not really feeling it for whatever reason, then I won't do it. And it's been fucking cold. So I got in the other day and the whole top of it was like just solid ice. So that was pretty fun. You obviously have to shrink the amount of time you're in it if it's really cold. Obviously if it goes to actual frozen, the whole thing's hovering around the 0 degree mark. Which is cold. So it was about 7 or 8 degrees when we topped it up to begin with from the tap, but obviously it's been freezing, so the temperature has just dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped.
I bet you feel really fresh afterwards. So when you get out, like, your body's just like, it's
interesting. My skin goes all pink. And you certainly feel I don't know. It's like quite a lot of it's emotional. Like, oh, you've just done something that's not like objectively pleasant.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel good having done that little
off your own back, like deciding to do it.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And you really like learn to appreciate like a cup of tea or central heating or something like that, just because you're much more aware of your temperature.
No.
I guess. Yeah, so it's been really interesting. I don't really know, I haven't really looked into the benefits of it. I just know it's supposed to be good, and so I've just started to do it.
I remember Ryan, who used to be at our club, he like religiously only had like cold showers or something, and I think he had quite a few benefits from that.
So I can't do that because I feel like it's attacking me.
Yeah.
Because it's like and constant, and you can't like. But whereas if you're dipping into a pod, it's like still somewhat. Water, so I can control it. I don't feel like I'm under attack.
Yeah.
You're just immersed. Yeah. So really, I should look into it and actually work out some kind of protocol. Like, I know not to spend too much time in there, especially if it's really cold, and to like start small and to work yourself up and all that stuff. So I have been smart. We were speaking to one of our mates the other day, and she said I think it's her uncle, got one last year, and he's an all or nothing kind of a person and didn't do any research or whatever. I don't think it was like freezing cold, but it was, legit cold. And they say to begin with, start up to like a minute or 2 minutes, something like that. Yeah. Apparently he went in for like 20 minutes. Jesus. Gave himself hypothermia and had to go to the hospital. And he's never used it since. So I didn't want to be that guy. So that was fun. And that's about it, really. How are you?
Good, I think. Like, coming back home was like, it was a weird mixed feeling of, I don't want to leave, but then also it's nice to come back in a way. But then I've only been back a day, and I kind of just want to be gone again. And it's not something I usually do. My whole life I've never really done any travelling or anything by myself. So yeah, I'm alright. I feel different. I feel like a different person now, though.
Interesting.
And for me, I find it quite interesting because it's given me a different look on things, I think. And I've got a different sort of drive now, which I'm excited about.
So I hope you don't mind me saying, but I feel like you were at quite a bit of a low point. Like, you were really ill, which never obviously helps much.
No. But
you stacked loads of work on coming up to Christmas and stuff. And so I think you certainly seem different now. Yeah,
like, I think when I go through things, like, when something mentally affects me, I tend to try and fill my time as much as possible and do as much as I can to just block it out and sort of just ignore it. And instead of, like, last time I went through a bad time, I went straight into training, like 11 times a week, and that killed me. This time I was like, I try and work instead, because then I'll get benefits from it as well. Like, training, I got benefits, 100%, but like money-wise, benefit from it. And coming up to Christmas, I was just like, I need to do something. Like, I'm doing the same old thing day in, day out. And I was up here with my mate Ashley, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to book some holidays. Like, never done it before, I'm just going to do it. So I booked going to Rome for 4 nights for New Year's, which I'll get into in a minute. And then I'd come home for 3 days and then go to Iceland for Monday to Monday. And I was like, this is a great idea.
Which
2 trips back to back would just be a perfect idea.
They're also very different stylistically, aren't they?
So Christmas, for me, it was weird because I was just kind of excited about the holidays, but Christmas in itself, I just wanted to be alone. It was weird. Like, I was with my family, which I love, obviously, but I just wanted to be alone. I just don't want to be around people, sort of thing. and I was still really low, really unsure, emotions all over the place. But then as soon as I got to go to Rome, I started sort of settling in, I think. Rome was amazing. Never been into so many like churches in my life, and I absolutely love pasta, so it was a perfect place to go.
You got a lot of good stuff, didn't you? Because there's pizza, there's pasta, there's all the other kind of regular food. There's not pizza or pasta, it's still amazing. And the ice cream is a big deal.
And the concert was amazing.
Yeah, was that actually over New Year or?
Yeah, so New Year's Eve, went to, I think it's called Circus Maximus, where they used to do the chariot racing back in the day.
Oh, cool, yeah.
And they had the concert there, and I think there was roughly about 70,000 people there. I got to go near the front, and it was just amazing. Didn't understand a word any of the singers were saying because it was all Italian, but I absolutely loved it. And met an American dude there with his wife, and we're just chatting about like jiu-jitsu and wrestling and then like the Italian stuff. And then he said to me, the person who was headlining cancelled because of some reason, or someone cancelled, but he said Boy George was there. I was just like, I'm at a Boy George concert. Like, what am I doing?
You didn't even know it.
No. But it was amazing. Like fireworks going off literally everywhere. Everywhere you looked, there was a firework going off. There was bangers, there was flares. It was just absolute vibe. And then I went and had some pasta at like 1:30 in the morning.
Nice.
On my way back to the hotel. But no, Rome was a really good trip. Then came home for 3 days, did I think one job, trained, and then went off to Iceland.
Nice.
Which literally is the best experience of my life so far.
It's quite an incredible place.
Oh yeah.
It's like you're not even on the same kind of planet anymore.
And one thing, a friend of mine who does window tinting, he said to me, John, make sure you speak to people, and I want proof. Like, I want you to take selfies with girls or like someone just to prove that you've spoken to people. And I was like, I promise you I'll speak to people.
You know what? That is really good advice, because you can be an observer, can't you?
Yeah.
But unless you speak to people and you're then participating.
Yeah.
And I think you obviously found it's amazing. Like, you don't have to speak to someone for very long for you to just strike up a connection. Yeah. And then you're in it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, Rome was a good starting point, but I didn't really speak to anyone. I was doing my own thing. I was on a mission. I was like, I'm going here. I'm going to explore the random streets and then go have food.
There's also a bigger language barrier there, isn't there? So,
whereas in Iceland, like 98% of them speak English. So soon on the plane there, I tried to speak to someone straight away. And found out she was like award-winning movie producer and television and stuff. And I had a great conversation with her. And then, got to Iceland. First thing I did, went and trained.
Yeah.
Is it Gunnar Nelson's gym?
Yeah.
I can't pronounce the actual name of it because it's Icelandic.
Yeah. It's the same as the Hammer, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I went and trained there. Great people.
Yeah.
Really good level of jiu-jitsu as well. And then that's when my week started, really. Just ended up doing so many activities. Went and saw the Northern Lights, met 2 American people. One's British, who moved to Brooklyn, and we were just talking about all sorts of things, and like it was just great. Got to see the Northern Lights. Then went, did the Golden Circle, met a few people there, and did snowmobiling.
For those who don't know, do you want to explain what the Golden Circle is?
So the Golden Circle is like a route around like the glacier and like Iceland, and it shows you some of the sites like the Giza, the tectonic plates, and the waterfall. One of the waterfalls that they have there. They've got loads of them, but this is just one of them.
The big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the most powerful in Europe or something, I think they said. And the sites were just amazing. It was like -20. Like any time I took my gloves off, like they felt frozen straight away. But it was amazing. Like,
someone told me you didn't take a coat.
Oh no, I did take a coat.
Oh,
so
okay.
there was a video of me going training on the first day. I was just like, I'm going to take my hoodie, not take my coat.
Yeah.
Went out the door, walked probably about 5-10 minutes. I was like, fuck, I should have brought my coat. Because then I completely forgot I was leaving and I would be sweaty and like wet.
Oh, that's really dangerous.
Yeah. So yeah, luckily it was only like a 15-minute walk. So
I thought you left your like big winter coat in the UK.
no, luckily I took
okay.
it.
Right.
And luckily most of the time I was getting too warm with it on.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's a decent coat.
Yeah.
I'm good. But yeah, so after I did the Golden Circle, they took us to go snowmobiling, which was like an hour and a half drive over the glacier to where the snowmobiles were. And that was an amazing experience, just getting on a snowmobile and just bombing it across the snow. Loved it.
Did you go in the water at the tectonic plates or not?
No.
Because we went with Catherine's brother and sister-in-law, and they're big into scuba diving.
Oh, okay.
So you can scuba dive or snorkel between them, and it's amazing because
you see
the
like the channel
water
as well,
is like crystal because there's nothing there. There's no real like sediment or anything, so you can just see super far. Yeah. And you can get a similar experience snorkeling to scuba diving. It was cold though.
Yeah.
Really cold. And then I got really ill.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, for the rest of the trip, I had like proper chest infection.
Oh, no.
I was delirious on a couple of nights as well.
No.
There was a night when it was kind of Northern Lights, so they woke us up to go.
Did you stay in Reykjavik?
Yeah, we started in Reykjavik and then we drove along the south coast.
That's one thing I wish I did was go down the south. I met someone I'll get into later who did travel down to the south, and they said it was just like amazing. Yeah,
I think the waterfall, like there's lots of things to see as you drive along because there's only one stretch road that can go and you get lots of like the smaller waterfalls and lots of interesting stuff like that. But yeah, and we did similar to you because you went to the lagoon as well, didn't you?
Which one did you go to?
I want to see Blue Lagoon, but I think I'm not sure if I'm speaking out my arse there or not. Really, I should look it up.
There is the Blue Lagoon, but I went to Sky Lagoon.
I think which
is quite close to Reykjavik.
Right, yeah.
That place, the sauna, like you cannot get a better looking sauna. Big room, there was just a glass window. I can't say how big it was, but it's like bigger than like a normal sized car.
Yeah.
And all you can see is just the sea.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Just the water just flowing, and you just sat in this room with this massive glass window, and it was just like the most peaceful place ever. No phones were allowed in there or anything. I think one of the rooms you could, but they had 2 saunas that did it, and one was like no devices, and that's where I went in, and it was just peaceful. It was amazing. But yeah, the Sky Lagoon, like I think the temperature of the water is about 38 degrees, and then they've got like a cold plunge area as well. So when I did that, sat there, spoke to some American guys, and it was just amazing.
It's quite nice because if you meet other tourists, they're either American or probably Japanese, and you can.
There was a lot of Chinese people as well.
Yeah, you can tell by looking at someone, obviously. We certainly noticed that, in Iceland, there was lots of Asian tourists.
But no, the Sky Lagoon was amazing, and I rode a horse for the first time.
You rode a horse, yeah.
Went horse riding through the lava fields, which was a great experience. I came across the whole idea of horse riding came from I came across this Icelandic content creator on like TikTok and Instagram. So he talked about how friendly and cute the horses are, and I was just like, I'm gonna go ride a horse, fuck it. Contacted him as well, and he gave me a bunch of recommendations of like places to visit. He did mention about a cock museum, but I was like, I'm not sure that's my sort of thing.
Cock museum? I thought that was in Amsterdam.
They've got one there as well.
Not the only one.
Yeah, but I'll tell you now, the burger place he recommended, I really think it's better than Seven Bone.
You texted me, didn't you?
Yeah.
I said we can't compare it because I'm not there.
No, but...
So you didn't get me one then?
I didn't bring one back.
It's not in a box here.
No. I was meant to go there for the last night, for my birthday. I was like, I'm going to have this for the last meal.
Yeah.
But plans completely changed on what I was going to do for my birthday, and glad they did.
Because you went to like a bookshop that was also a gig or something.
I went there like 4 or 5 nights.
You
out of the 7 days
you've
I was
become
there.
such a like trendy hipster.
And so my birthday, the plan was like, before I left, one of the activities I booked was whale watching. It was like I booked it for my birthday because it was like, this is the main thing I want to do, is see whales.
But you don't always get, like, even if you go on the trip, you aren't guaranteed.
No. And I booked it, so it was a hotel pickup. They picked me up, and this whole time, like, going to like the bookstore, went there a few nights, I'd like be sat there singing along sort of thing, and then talk to the person next to me or whatever, just trying to like put myself out there a bit and just like meet people, random people. And pretty much every night I was there, I spoke to someone. That was like my goal, just to speak to someone. And my birthday, got picked up, got in the minibus, and there was just 2 of us. There was just some girl in the back, and I spoke to her. We just got talking about what's going on. Like, I asked her how long she's been here and stuff. And then we checked in for the boat and got on the boat, and we like did the whale watching together. And I got really lucky because they don't usually come so close to the boat. And I put a video on my Instagram. I'll put one when this comes out on the page, but one literally came past the bow of the boat and like dived down, and it was like perfect. And I was just like, this has secured my birthday. The rest of the day could go absolutely tits up, but it does not matter. I've achieved what I was trying to achieve for my birthday. And I was just like, with how my last birthday was, being in Marrakesh, I was just like, it's going to be hard to beat that. Like, I want to keep up the momentum of like having good birthdays. And once I saw the whale, I was just like, I set off to do this for my birthday, and I've achieved it.
That's cool.
But yeah, after that, went back on the bus, going back to the hotel, and I was just like, I've had a good time with this person. I put myself out there. I was just like, here's my Insta. If you want to hang out for the rest of the day, give me a shout. And
that's really nice as well, because you're obviously conscious of the fact, like, she's a girl.
Yeah.
You don't want to be too kind of forward and make her feel uncomfortable. But if you just say, there's my Insta, if you want to get in touch, then that's really nice.
Yeah, and it's like, being with the whale watching, we were talking the whole time and just getting along. So I was just like, I enjoying their company. I'll probably never see them again in my life, so it's just like, why not? And yeah, so she ended up adding me, and we went out for food, tried lamb and chorizo. I don't know how you pronounce it.
That's right, yeah.
So I love chorizo, but I've never had like the Icelandic lamb, and apparently it's really good.
That's actually one of the only things they've got out there, isn't it? As well as the fish.
So I tried that, and it was absolutely amazing at a food hall. And then we decided to go to the bookstore and listen to the live music.
Is that on your recommendation then?
Well, the bookstore?
Yeah.
I came across that online just from a video, and I was just like, I'll try it out.
But that night, did you say to her, let's go to the bookstore?
Would you like to? Sort of thing.
So you already had some insider knowledge.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So we went there, had the best time ever. Like, I kept getting her to try and get up and dance, but she wouldn't. And then I went up and danced with this random, like, 56-year-old dude, and he's from London.
That was on your Insta as well, right? Yeah.
And he said to me, he's like, I've been here 5 days in a row. I was like, I've nearly done that too. And then after that, we went for a little walk up to the church, see that at night.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing, isn't it?
At night, it's just all lit up. It looks beautiful. And then went down to the coast, and I was just like, see if I can see the mountains, just the last thing before I leave. And I ended up getting to see the Northern Lights again.
Mate.
Which I was just like, the day couldn't have gone any better. Like, the whole day was just perfect. Nothing went wrong. Everything was like perfect. And I was just like, this has just finished it off.
Nice.
But by the time I got to the hotel, I had about 2 hours before I had to get up, so I just didn't go to sleep. So, yeah. The trip's been like...
That's awesome. That's such a lesson in like putting yourself out there and stuff like that, isn't it?
And it's just given me a whole different sense, and like I've come back just with a whole different mindset, I think. And I'm trying to find myself in the UK and just get everything right.
Yeah, I think in those kind of like travel or like any kind of it out of the norm experience, you're in a bit of a bubble, which is amazing because you can let go and kind of find yourself and interact with people you're probably never going to see ever again, which is quite a kind of freeing experience. And you come back to normal where people, you have your baggage and you have your job and all that stuff, but I think you can certainly have the elements of that you then can inject into your life, I think.
And I've mentioned the podcast to like pretty much everyone that I spoke to over there.
Makes you interesting instantly.
Like the producer lady, I said to her like what the podcast is about and stuff, and she's like, "Oh, definitely check it out. What's the name?" And another person followed it straight away, and then when I left the bus, I was like, "Make sure you give it a review." And then she was like, "Oh, why is it yours?" I was like, "Yeah, it's mine." And then she was like, "Oh, definitely."
That's cool.
So getting the podcast out there as well in Iceland. With some Americans and that. But overall, like, I feel really good. Just need to get back into the workflow so I can do my next adventure.
So what was the jiu-jitsu like out there? Just
really good.
Quickly, yeah.
Like the level, like I got to roll.
Well, it's a top gym, isn't it, there?
I rolled on the last day that I trained there because I did 2 days of training. I got to roll with the coach. He's a brown belt, really sound dude. He got me in the rear naked choke, finished it, but he just did it like it was nothing.
Yeah. Sometimes you meet those people and it's just like, oh God.
But I had some really good rounds with some other brown belts and because I saw them in a gi the other day before. But the other guys, don't know what belts they were, but had a really good time. Everyone was friendly, asking like where you're from.
It's nice that was like an easy in. Like even if you were in a country where you didn't speak any of the or they didn't speak any English. You could probably just turn up and train and that would speak for itself, which is really nice.
And I think the second day when I trained, I think it was more of an advanced class. This coach from the day before, he said to me, like, this is like a bit of a beginner's. He said, these guys are a bit shit for the open mat. He said, come back tomorrow and you'll get some better rolls in.
Did he say that in front of them or behind their backs?
Like just off to the side. But the second day, some woman was teaching the no-gi and she was talking completely Icelandic, and it's great because even though she was talking completely in another language, because it's jiu-jitsu, I understood exactly what we were doing.
So much of it's visual as
until like I was with my training partner and then she would say something just in the middle of the room without showing anything. I was like, is she just saying do a flow roll or something? And then he would like tell me. But no, it was really good. The training was good. I'd love to go back next time I go there, because I will go back to Iceland to visit the south coast. I will make sure I go back in and train.
Awesome. That's in Reykjavik, isn't it?
Yeah. So it was literally like 15 minutes from my hotel.
Yeah, nice.
Like, I didn't plan that, but once I booked the hotel, I looked up some MMA gyms and
it was one right there.
Yeah,
That's
right across
cool.
the street. I was just like, can't have planned it any better.
So I guess that ties in what you were saying about and trying to bring some of that back to your everyday life. Something that was on the agenda, because we learned from the episode 11 that is none, to have a bit of an agenda for these episodes so we don't kind of lose track or whatever. The last thing on our agenda for today is like setting an intent for 2025. I think New Year's resolutions can be a bit like prescriptive, like, oh, you have to do this, and if you don't do it, that's it. But to set yourself an intent, like just a general direction or a theme or a word or something for 2025, it sounds like that would be what your intent is.
I think I end up rushing into things too much.
Yeah, I think being all right on your own is such a key part of being all right when you're in a relationship as well.
Yeah.
But then that extends to friendships as well, right? When 100%. Someone's asking too much, like sometimes because you've been with like a mate for such a long time, you feel like you owe them something.
Yeah.
When actually, if someone's just a taker, and you're like, I don't quite know what I get
in return
from this.
Yeah.
It's good to not kind of sleep through it. And it certainly sounds like that kind of independence in you is probably really good.
Yeah. I'm figuring out my own thing. Like, I've got a business. I'm enjoying like the 2 trips that I've done. I've enjoyed that, and I'm just figuring out what I want really. And someone said to me about going on dating apps, and I was just like, no chance.
But unless you take the risk of putting yourself, out on a limb, like going off on trips on your own and stuff like that, that's you're never going to organically meet someone.
No. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy just putting myself sort of out there and just like having interactions with people. I love knowing like what people do and people's journeys and what people do. So like meeting that person who's a producer on the plane, like unless I spoke to her, I would never have known that.
Yeah. So I've got a similar intent for 2025, which is think less to do more.
Yeah.
Because I often think about things so much, I end up not doing anything at all. Instead of just doing stuff,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you think about ideas like, oh, I'm going to do this, or I'll think about doing that, and you just never end up doing anything.
Just like, doing this, we don't have a lot of time today. There's only you and me, so we're like, oh, we could just not do it. But it's like, no, let's just get it out there. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I have to go teach. I'll go teach a class because it's Tuesday. So
I think good ending, good chat.
Yeah, just bashed it out. Done.
Well, love for everyone. I don't hate.
Oh, I hate a lot of people. 3,
love, 2. Not war.
Make cakes.
Yeah.
Not war.
Exactly.
3, 2,
1.